Hey guys,
Hello, everyone.
what's going on?
Good to see everybody on another Wednesday
yes,
live.
it's another Wednesday.
Yep.
It was sad though because I was like, Mark, did we go live last week? He's like, yeah, we did, and we caught up on everything. The weeks just feel like they're so I don't know, they're just so slam packed with stuff right now that it's just really hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
You know, they're all just it's
Especially when things
blurring.
start warming up, you're on like that, uh, like have that energy to do things
Yeah, you're at a fever
outside,
pitch.
and then the
Yeah.
weather sometimes isn't cooperating, so you're back and forth. Just yeah,
It can be a little taxing
yeah. We'll start
sometimes.
projects outside, then the next couple of days we'll get rain and cold, and
Yeah.
it's just like
Hey
back
Isaac, how you
inside a
doing?
bit. So
Yeah,
hello.
it's definitely been that where like today, it started out really rainy and just kind of like damp and cold, and it's
Mhm.
finishing up to be really beautiful and like in the high 50s, but we're supposed to get like snow
Yeah.
Friday evening, and it's supposed to be really cold on Saturday, and then we're going to be in the 70s next week. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those where you get a burst of energy and it just sucks because then the weather just throws you a
Yeah.
curveball and you're like, I just want to finish the project.
Hello,
But,
Fairview.
hey, how are you guys
We have been
doing?
fortunate though. Like we watch a lot of the weather chasers on
Mhm.
YouTube, and
Yes.
down south they've been getting hit with some
Want.
pretty harsh weather.
Yeah.
So fortunately, we've not been getting that because we've actually
Mhm.
been pretty cold.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
know,
preventing the
that's
severe
the
weather
only
coming
reason
through.
why we haven't had is like so much tornadic activity because we're starting to enter into that time of the year here in Indiana where it becomes a little bit dicey when it comes to the weather.
Okay. Because as we shared in the last live, we have a goat in the house, a baby one, and we've been wanting to transition it to the barn, and it's been a little cold to do that.
Yeah,
So,
it's too up and down, and the house stays at like a pretty even like 67, 68 all the time. So that I'm afraid like if I take her out when it's like 60 during the night day and then it plummets to 25, like I'm gonna give her pneumonia. And
yeah.
I worked really hard to keep her alive, to get her to come back to life. I want to kind of keep her that way. So
Yeah.
hey Stephanie, what's up?
Hello. Yeah, when Ashley takes her out, we've noticed that after a little bit of time, she'll start to get sort of sluggish.
She gets tired.
Yeah, so I think it's partly due to the cold, not to mention being in the house. It's a whole new environment with the other kids. But
yeah, she feels way comfortable in here, which is super cute to have like a little goat just racing up and down the hallway and climbing on everything and getting under everything. But I'd love to see her do that with kids out in the barn, and she doesn't do that.
The funny thing is, like, it's almost like she's getting potty trained because we have a towel to wipe up her messes on our floors, and we left it in the spot the other day, make it quick to grab, and she went over to it and has now done that several times.
Been peeing there, and I'm like,
yeah,
I guess she can house train a goat.
Guess so. I found out,
but it is what it is. So I'm like, well, I guess that's helpful because I don't have to clean it up. But we are to the point we're going to start transitioning her outside. So whenever I'm out like milking, or today at lunchtime I did a stall clear so that I could relime it and then rebed it because I have another doe getting ready to kid out this weekend. Of course, when it's supposed to be 30 degrees as a high, I've got a doe that's due. So she was out there with me then, and she follows me around, but she's not as like herky jerky having fun like she is in the house. And it's like, no, you have to learn to be a goat because that's what you are. So
hello, April.
Hey,
hello,
April, what's
Darren.
up? Darren.
Speaking of weather,
yeah,
Darren's been getting some snow. I've seen his Facebook posts. They were at the top of his fence post.
Oh,
so
God, I should have marked that post. I was like,
so it's hard to complain about these cold spells when
you're seeing you guys have like.
Thank God he's got that greenhouse because
yeah, that's great. I don't know how you do it, Darren. Like, I really don't. It would drive me insane.
Yeah. Honestly, Ashley's got the fever a little bit, and she's got all these planting trays over on the table next to us. Yeah, so we're looking at. So
can you see? They're like over there, and I've got my fodder lifting up making them all dizzy. My clunky above clunky laptop. Look at everything.
But yeah, trying to get a little head start on some of the.
Yeah, I started hardening off like my colder crops. Yep. So.
Like as Ashley's been sharing, we got some new raised garden beds, a new area. And we've also got some extra windows we've been given. They're old like storm windows, and we're thinking that we can lay those over the top and almost
prevent frost. Yeah, because I know we're not going to be frost free for about
provide almost like a greenhouse effect to them. So we'll see how that works.
We'll see. I have to get topsoil. Like it's just, we've been kidding out a lot of those, and I've gotten past my flurry of like I can't sleep and I can't walk away from the barn. where it was the point where like really Mark would say, "Can we go do something?" I'm like, "Are you serious? You're asking me to leave this house? Like you're insane. You go do it. I'm staying here." I've only missed one birth so far, so I'm doing well. Technically, I've missed two. I caught the tail end of Miss Haley, which is why Squeakers is alive. But yeah, there's only been one where I truly missed, and it was only like an hour. I went out and checked. I'm like, yeah, you look like you might be getting kind of close, but you're not all the way there yet. And then came out the next time.
So once you give them the stats on it, how many total on the ground you were counting?
So I have 15, which we've had, and nobody knows that on Facebook yet. And you guys are probably so confused. So I'll back up. I will back up just a second. So, because if we have anybody here that's new, that doesn't follow my Facebook, and you're just going off of the videos here on YouTube, we're like 3 weeks behind. So like what you guys saw that was posted today was like 3 to 4 weeks ago. So
you've also been part of some collaborations lately.
Yeah,
so
that puts like a hard deadline on some things, and it pushes videos back, which we love doing collaborations. But if you don't follow me on Facebook, we're like, we've already passed the halfway mark in kidding. Whereas on YouTube land here, you guys haven't seen any kidding yet. So we've had 19 born, and I hate sharing these stats because I feel pretty much like a failure, even though like it's not the worst kidding season I've ever had, but it's definitely not been stellar. So we've had 19 kids hit the ground, 3 DOA that were never, I really don't think they were ever live. One I pulled, and I know like it'd been dead for a long time. It had stopped. And then we had 2 that were out in the field with Haley that doesn't look like they ever like were alive at all. They were just very, very small. And I had one this last week pass away suddenly. So I mean, I don't even know what happened. It was I won't go into that. It was very traumatic.
She was on the phone with the vet and the vet assistant, going back and forth, and
and they're like, "You're already doing everything that we would have told you to do." So they're like,
"It's a couple hours."
They're like, she's either going to fight through it, she's going to make it, or she's going to go really fast. And she went really fast. So
especially because I was actually doing the barn check, and then I noticed it was wrong. So if I noticed something's wrong, it's pretty bad shape.
I know. Mark came and he's like, "You might want to check out this doe," and I'm like, "It's dead. Something's dying." You know, if Mark's saying I need to look at it, it means it's dying. So we've had 4 that passed away, but we have 15 bouncing babies, and we are buck heavy again.
Springs for legs.
Yeah, we have 5 does and 10 bucks.
Yeah, the ornaments are plentiful this year.
The ornaments are plentiful again.
Yeah. Stephanie said, "So glad she's doing well. Can't count how many ball babies she's had in the house, and use diapers on hers."
I'm really thinking about it, but I'm like, after Sunday, honestly, she's pretty much going out.
Been in the house longer than we were expecting, but it's because of the weather. We're like seeing better weather ahead, and then it usually shifts by the time it gets here. So
she gets to go out when it's nice enough, and she follows me around, and she gets exposed to other goats. Like yesterday, we had this budding, and the vet came, so I pulled all the babies in, and I separated the moms, and she went out almost all day yesterday with the other kids, so she can start to learn to socialize. So
I don't know if I'd be ready for diapers again. It's been so long since we had diapers. Of course, our daughter's older.
Well, I have diapers out there. I just use them on donkey hooves.
How much are diapers right now?
Oh my God!
Everything going up. I remember diapers being a expense.
That was an expense we were glad to get rid of by the end of it.
Yeah.
The only diaper I do have diapers in my barn, but it's usually for hoof injuries to put on the donkey. So they're wonderful for like packing Epsom salt or whatever and packing it up on the bottom of the hoof. And vet wrapping it, keeping it nice and dry.
They do help for those quick emergencies. Luckily, we have floors we can wipe up real quick. But especially if we had more than one ball baby in the house, definitely would be having diapers. Yeah. So we didn't keep up well.
Yeah. So we've been really lucky bottle baby wise. I think I've only ever had, I've had 4, 2 of which were out in the barn with Mommy. Mommy loved them. Mommy just wasn't making milk. So
we have a sort of a similar issue this year with 2 of them too. Hello, Betty.
Hey,
good to have you tonight.
Hello, Braxton. Braxton says, "Hey, y'all, I made it to this week. Kidding season is over. My birthday is Sunday, and we got a blue healer, so I'm on this live out in the dog pen." That's awesome. Cool. Well, congrats. Sounds like you got a lot of exciting things going on.
Great dogs, too.
Yeah, they are.
Actually, one of my favorite breeds.
He likes the high energy. Well, I think you like high energy working dogs.
I like the way they look, too. They just have like a neat little stocky build, and then they're a good working dog, so. Yeah, definitely one of the cooler breeds. So congrats on the new dog.
Yeah.
So.
Everything is crazy expensive. I know.
Yeah.
I know, Darren.
Yeah, Darren, you were talking about on a recent post, I think, like lemon prices even and stuff like that. And then at the end of his post, he says, we need to get the goats here soon to help offset the costs.
We're going to butcher our first goat this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to try to go at it. Definitely not going to be an educational video because it's going to be educational for us. She'll probably get some clips of it.
I probably will. Drop in the comments. Is that something you guys, and I know some people are like, they're pets, and I get that. That's totally fine. There will be a trigger warning at the beginning of the video. Like, this is not, if you don't agree with the butcher of animals, this is not going to be the video
it's going to be a learning experience for us. So.
And I would like to bring you guys along as we kind of trip through it, because I feel like a lot of people don't show like those first times and being successful with it, because everybody has a first time. Everybody doesn't know what they're doing. They have a general idea, but they're not by any means like pros. So I probably will film it, but yeah, is that something you guys would like to see? Would you like a dedicated video to that, or you just like to show me some clips? You'd watch it?
Yeah.
Cool. There you go.
Fairview said mine were able to jump on the couch last year. I figured they were ready to go back to the barn. Yep. Yeah. Definitely.
She's trying, which is hilarious.
And bounces off. Like,
but she gained a pound in a week. That's really good for like
honestly,
Nigerians.
She would be in the barn if it wasn't these cold spells.
Yeah.
Not to mention they're sort of wet and damp and cold, and so that really helps offset pneumonia. I mean, honestly, Willow's baby when
a couple days after, she scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, she got to where she was just shivering and standing in a corner by herself, and actually, fortunately, caught it early on, treated, and turned her around pretty quick. Yeah. So it's just that weather.
Yeah, it is, and it is one of those things. Like when you see a baby goat that's not acting like a baby goat, like hunched in the corner, shivering, antisocial. That is not the way they're supposed to be. Like, that is time to start evaluating.
I used the cheap Walmart diapers. Yeah. They worked for our daughter too.
We did too often because it was like, I can't afford.
Yeah, they get expensive quick, especially as they sometimes go through them faster spells than other. It's like, man, I remember sometimes it felt like we'd have to buy a big old bag, like a box of diapers every week.
Every week there for a while. Geez. Yeah. Yeah, every
week.
And
formula, that gets expensive too.
So Darren said, I'd watch it too. However, it might be one you save and do on a member.
There you
go.
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
I've been looking at the member stuff, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I always kind of.
Darren has a lot of butchering experience. Is there any quick tips you'd offer?
Yes.
And then on top of that, feel free to watch and give us some critiques on it.
Yeah,
because we'll take out of it. Like we've been watching some other videos to try and learn from it, and of course we've hunted deer and field dressed deer, so we're going.
Can field dress probably blindfolded.
So we've got some experience there.
And breaking it down is like difficult.
Bringing it down to the finished product is where we don't have that experience yet.
So. And really, we deer hunt, and that's the whole reason why we've decided, even for a Nigerian dwarf, whether that did not grow out well, probably won't even get 20 pounds of meat off this guy. We might be lucky to get 10 pounds of meat.
Well, here's the thing too. Maybe if we decide, okay, we can use the bucks and start, processing them, it'll change our luck with the buck fairy.
I'm good with that.
You know how that always works. When you want something or need it, because Ashley wants does. Of course, we get bucks. We're like, oh, okay, now we'll process the bucks, and the does will start coming.
But maybe at least I will say, like with my bucks, I have gotten either flashy bucks or bucks that are just. The confirmation is like, that's great, and the mommies are looking great. Where I'm like, sweet, I can let you keep your ornaments, but there are a couple where I'm like, your ornaments are not staying. You don't get to breed. You're not leaving here with my name on you and breedable. So
Fairview made a good point. They said the rabbi bread for me is due Easter Sunday. I'm preparing myself.
That's awesome, though. It's really gratifying. Like we made one of our ducks tonight.
It also is preparing yourself to do it in a way.
Yeah.
I mean. We do like all the goats on the farm, so it is a bit of a hard wall that we're going to have to climb over, but we'll definitely do it.
Well, and I have seen, and it might just be the Nigerian dwarf breeders that I'm seeing this from, but I have seen a lot of them taking hard stances, especially those that are breeding like for confirmation, where they're like, I will not undersell my animals. I know what I am breeding for. I would rather eat this animal than let him go to a home weathered or to like a non-performance home. Like we'll eat them instead of selling them. And I'm like, go you, go you. People don't like that. And I understand why they don't like that. But for me, I'm just like, that's good though. That's 100% around, milk and meat.
For sure.
It is what it is. Super excited about that.
Darren said best advice I ever had was follow the muscle lines, and you can't screw it bad enough that it's not edible. Yeah, that's one
This
thing we've
is
seen
true.
is a
Yeah.
lot of the people, especially doing it for home use and on the homestead, like,
Mhm.
hey, I just want the meat to use.
Yeah.
They'll be like, if you do mess them up or get some scraps, you can just throw them in a grinder
Yeah.
and
There
then
you
make
go.
hamburger meat. I mean,
Yeah.
even that can be used in many ways.
Oh
You've used
yeah.
it
I
for
mean,
chili,
you can use
jerky. I
ground
mean,
beef can be or ground goat can be used for
yeah.
anything.
I mean, we
really. I mean,
used the deer ground beef or ground beef,
yeah.
deer ground meat quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't think we
different-
have any beef in there right now.
Mm-mm.
No, and I've pretty much come to
Cooked
the
a
point.
duck tonight.
What cooked a duck, and I did a good job this time. I did a
glazed it
really
well,
good job. So it was really like my daughter's like, can I have more? And if Joe asks for more of anything, it means it's good. She's
Mhm.
like, that skin was the bomb.
Yeah.
I worked on that skin for 3 hours.
It had some honey on it, so it's sweet. So she got kicked
I'm like,
out.
I glazed the heck out of that thing.
Darren's like, can't always follow muscle lines, but when breaking down sections, it's usually true. That
That's
makes
good.
sense.
That's good to know.
Yep, we'll keep that.
That's really,
definitely
really
in
good to
mind.
know.
So
Yeah, because we're doing ours, and then actually, his sister has one.
yeah, a little bit of that background. It's a fun stuff. Hopefully she's on here. She'll be like, "Oh God!"
If she's on here, I mean,
No,
it
she gets
happens. It really does
She
happen.
gets a kick out of it, and it's more like a laugh because you
So
want to cry.
I think it was last year. I was showing her how to band goats, and she banded what we're calling one nut, which might be a little bit
I
of
think
a
that gives a
clue
little bit of
as
the
to
story, what the
why
end of the
he's
story's
being
gonna go,
butchered. So, and she follows a lot of the guidelines we do. If you aren't comfortable stamping your herd name on that sucker and letting him go do a job and to improve the breed and to add something to table confirmation wise, then you don't let it leave the farm with its ornaments, and that's kind of hard to adopt because sometimes it means
I mean, there's
you
a
lose
big
a little money.
goat breeder that we like, Old Mountain Farm, and have
Yeah.
some of their bloodlines, and I mean, honestly, they're like where we'd like to get to.
Yeah.
And they
I mean,
follow
they're like
that
the top
principle, and we
echelon.
like a lot of what they.
Yeah, they're like, if there's
follow,
anything wrong with
or
it,
we like to
anything
follow
that we
them.
don't want our name stamped on,
Yeah.
we won't let it leave the farm. They're like, it is loved and it is cared for and it is well fed and it only knows one bad day. And we put it to use. And
Yeah.
I can totally respect that. But so back to the story. So she banded this buckling and she's like, I swear I felt both nuts down in there. Which you do, you have to feel and make sure. And she's like, I know that I felt both of them in there. And weathered him, banded, everything fell off. Yeah. She was watching one day, and even bucklings, when they don't have their ornaments anymore, will still try to perform the duties of a true buck without having, like,
especially the later you castrate.
And it was a later castration, and they try to perform even though they've got no real equipment to get the job done. And she's like, but with goats, when they mate, there are certain body movements that confirm that
they have a finale.
They do have like a falling off for rabbits.
Yeah.
Like there is like specific body language when you're like, oh, he delivered the package and she received it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was watching and he delivered the package.
Yeah.
It's like, and then he went to another doe and delivered the package. And she's like, he'd been running with all of her does because she thought he was weathered. And I don't know if maybe like the top of one was stuck or I don't know. Maybe there were both in there. Yeah. But she's like, what would you do? I'm like, I'd go to the vet. I would get Ludweiss. I would give Luke to all of my does that he could have gotten to. And she's like, but what I do, I can't sell him as a wether because technically he's not. And nobody's going to want a buck that doesn't have the ornaments showing. It's like, I can't prove either way. And she's like, I think I'm going to butcher him. I'm like, bring him up and we'll have like a butcher party. So that's what we're doing Saturday.
I'm not going to that alone. My brother-in-law, he's hunted before and stuff and has some of that background in it too. Mm-hmm. So my sister honestly made a good point too. Is she's like interested in knowing the parts of goats better. I mean, she grew up raising goats, and she's big into like the judging of them. Well, she was talking about like the stifle bone, and she did go to the ADGA convention and took like the judging like lessons and stuff. You have to pay to take the course, and she got really, really close to getting on, which is awesome for like a first timer. Like it was amazing. I was so amazed. I'm like, you're so awesome. Yeah. Like I want to aspire to do that. Yeah. But she's talking about the stifle bone. She's like, well, they did say there, like, to understand like how a stifle bone is set up and how it's correct in the body. Like they say to look at a butchered carcass because that's how you're going to be able to tell if it was good or bad.
So she's interested for that reason too, which
Yeah.
I'm like, see, show animals can be homestead animals.
Mhm.
They really can.
Definitely.
Which that's proving on our milk testing too, because we have one doe who gave 5 pounds in a day, and the other doe barely gave me a pound and a half. Same feed, same age, same treatment, same everything. One's thrifty, one is not thrifty.
Yep.
So,
hello, Ren's Homestead. Good to have you tonight.
hi.
Quickly a segue off. Thinking of people joining. We have a Farmly member that isn't here tonight. She reached out to us right before. I feel okay talking about it because she's talked about it before, but just keep Margie in your prayers along with her partner, Roger.
Yeah.
His condition, unfortunately, is declining, and just keep them in your thoughts and prayers tonight.
Yeah.
So we definitely miss her tonight. She
Yeah.
let us know ahead of time. Apologize. I said, we both said, hey, that's way more important than our life tonight.
So
just keep her.
Send her some prayers, good vibes, positive thoughts, whatever you want to send her way. She can use them right now.
Yep.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
But the other thing we were talking about the other nights, we're segue off the goats and having your own food is also, you were looking at canners recently, getting ready to make that leap into it.
Especially because I got some Amazon gift cards for my birthday on Sunday. So I'm like, well, what am I going to use those on? Because I love Amazon, but then I feel like when I get the gift cards, I'm like, what? I got to go buy something. Yeah. But there's some things that I've been really, really wanting that I think I will use to buy a canner for one I got for my birthday.
Yeah, which would definitely be beneficial with things. Like everybody knows right now, inflation is just killing prices on things.
It's a thing.
becoming a nightmare, really. Just going to the supermarket. I mean, it's where you go a couple weeks apart and you're seeing major differences in your food bill. So
yeah. So what are you guys seeing in your areas? Just out of curiosity, have you guys seen anything where you can't find it because it's not on the shelves, or that you've noticed besides gas that the price has just gone up quite a bit? Because I mean, we're to the point where like, is this inflation? Is this the market finally showing where our economy is?
One of the big hitters to us was actually like to buy the black sunflower seeds.
Yeah, can't buy them.
And they went up.
$9 a bag. It went from $18.99 to $27.99. I was like
30.
It was a really big jump up, and I use that because of the protein and calcium contents for milking does. It makes a whole lot of sense, to feed them something with high protein and calcium when they're milking so much. But I can't buy them because they've gone up so much. Kyra Grace, I go to your. Oh, are you Kira's stepdaughter?
Oh yeah.
Is it you, Kyra?
Hello, good to have you tonight.
I'm so happy to see you here. How are you doing?
Sure. Yeah, that was a big hit to us. I mean, general feed costs have gone up. We had some gravel delivered for the driveway, and I was talking to him because we actually need more. We waited a while before we put another top layer on our driveway. Honestly, I hate to say it, but we haven't done it since we built the house, since about 10 years old. We had it properly put in, but of course, we had a good ridge of grass in the middle that we actually need to mow. So
it's been 11 years. It's been over a decade.
Yeah, that's way too long. I ain't gonna lie. But of course, we've been focused on other things. But talking to him, I was like, all right, we're going to need some more gravel. I know the initial amount, I have to do it. Super nice.
He's very
nice. But
I
was like, hopefully the price don't go up between now and then. He's like, who knows? He's like, well, you paid me. I might be able to just get one dinner in the night. Because he's like, with gas,
you don't know.
Food going out. I mean, sadly, like going out to eat, we've tried to not go into the restaurant as much because I hate to say it, but you got a tip on top of that. Your meal price has gone up. We do try to tip well, but now that influences the overall bill as well.
It does influence it because, like, if you were to do a 15 to 20% tip, just because the amount of the food went up, now the tip goes up too. It's like,
and I mean, you hate to think, I know waiter and waiters, they deserve it. Definitely do.
It's a tough job.
But I mean, it's one of those things where when things keep going up, you really start looking at things at a microscopic level almost, where even trips out. I know you were talking about that. Like, at what point do we think, we need to consolidate trips even more?
We've already started doing it though. Yeah. He was going to Connorsville. Yeah. You guys don't know what Connorsville is. You guys don't know where that's at. It's a neighboring town. Our daughter's really interested in parakeets, so we've been encouraging her with braids and everything. Why parakeets aren't my thing. But that's what she wants. So she found a cage on Facebook Marketplace and went over there. But before Mark left, because I'm like, well, I'm going to stay here because I've got to milk. I got to do a couple of things. And he's like, do you need anything from Tractor Supply? Are you sure you don't need anything over here, but it has become one of those things. Like we don't even go out on our lunch sometimes. Like we don't even run into town. We're like, we're going to consolidate all of that to make sure that our trips are definitely worth the amount of gas. Because then I was watching a Twitch streamer. I love to watch people play video games because I am a complete and total nerd. And he was talking. He's in Texas, and he's like, "Yeah, it's $5.50 a gallon right now."
Yeah,
he's like, to fill up my truck, it was like over $150.
I know, Rick at Lala Farms has posted several times him at the pump, and I understand a little bit of his rage seeing the total because he's got, I imagine, a decent sized truck with as many gallons as he's putting in.
And I think that was Lala's little truck, not even his big truck. It's crazy, guys. Like it is really, really crazy.
Betty said potatoes were missing from her grocery store yesterday, and they don't know when they're going to get them.
Really? Like those are kind of like a staple.
Yeah, we've actually got quite a few. Fortunately, my mom's been getting extra food here and there to, like, when she goes out to get groceries, and it'll give us a little extra, just saying, "Hey, if I can help you a little bit, here you go." And it's been awesome.
Well, and like even if and for us, nothing here goes to waste. So like if we can't eat it, or it's expired for some reason, and even if it's expired, it's probably like the sniff test. Like, does it smell okay? Does it feel, the texture feel okay? And if it doesn't pass that, then it gets diced up or cooked and given to the chickens or the ducks. So, but that's kind of crazy. Like potatoes really aren't something I would see being.
Yeah. Fairview said pasta's out of stock as well. Had to get fettuccine
because
noodles.
It's dry store. People are storing up dry stuff that they can easily keep on a pantry.
My dad started asking me about Mylar bags and storing food.
Hey, crazy life.
He was not the type that usually like followed or really was interested in that stuff. And the way things are, he's definitely reconsidered some of that. And
we were telling him, like, this is where we got our Mylar bags, and this is how we seal them, and this is how we,
it's just an easygoing guy, just like rolling along. And then it's just like, hey, things are getting a little out of hand.
You can't go blind, especially now. I mean, honest to goodness, it would be easy for us to go blind
in your face
here.
Everywhere now,
but the thing is, like, when you're homesteading or you're farming, you're self-sufficient, it is really easy to put your head in the dirt.
Yeah.
Because it's like things here, it really does switch your focus. So for me, like, I've been watching a couple of things to keep up with current events, and it freaks me out. So I put my head down and I'm like, I'm going to start more seeds. I'm going to go out and milk my goats. I'm going to, it kind of pushes the focus to what's important. And for us, the self-sufficiency on a homestead is what is important.
Yeah.
Isaac says, I'm sorry, go ahead and say hello.
I was going to say hello to Tina.
Hello, Tina Ladybug. Yep. Isaac said, concrete and metal roofs are things that have gone up in price here. Steel prices in general have gone up a ton. We bought some hay feeders at our feed store, and they went up to 21 from 12.
Spot on, Isaac. Yeah, they have gone up. Yeah. We actually just bought panels. In a similar fashion, cattle panels to put around our garden area, our new in the ground garden area that we're moving to a spot inside the goat pen. And they went up. I think when we first started buying them several years ago, they were like $16, $17, $24.99.
Yeah.
It was. I think there was $1 off. We ended up getting them for $24.99
because they had like a spring sale or something where it just was one of those things.
It's like there's little things. Even then, you feel like, oh, that's a big deal. Like Betty Randall said that she said gas came down from $4.49 to $3.84 earlier this week.
Ooh, that's like
you're
going
feel
out
like
and
you have to go
up.
fill up. Yeah. I agree. Like I think I filled up like $3.92 the other day, and I'm like, wow, it's under $4.
And that is when you're like, take every car. We're both going to drive to the gas station and fill up everything because.
Or I like to take a gas can and do the premium or the ethanol free because I like to use that in the small engines. They just help them run better.
They do.
And that, of course, is expensive gasoline. And when I see it come down, I'm like, time to fill those tanks up just to
100%.
keep it on hand.
No worries, Mo. We're just glad that you're here.
Yep.
We always appreciate seeing people come in. I don't care when you come in.
Fairville said, I just packed up 25 pounds of sugar in Mylar bags and buckets today. Yep. We've put some sugar away. Someone told us don't put in the oxygen absorbers with it, or
it'll make it like a brick. But I'm like, that's okay.
I'm like, well, if
I don't mind it being like a brick.
We can knock it apart and break it up some to whatever use we need it to.
That might help us to only chisel off a little bit.
That's awesome putting away. I mean, sugar is a great store item because it's like you can fix up a lot of food with it.
Sorry, the dog is mean mugging me through the window. I'm like, I'm
she
not
got
letting you
banished from the house for a bit because she
snapped the baby goat. And I'm like, no, you can't
She
do that.
is super jealous.
Yeah, she was really good, like almost motherly, and then all of a sudden tonight, I'm like, no, we don't.
And the
We
baby
don't have
goat,
mood swings.
fortunately for them, loves them, like follows them around
Yeah,
and wants
she
to
thinks
climb on
she's
them.
a dog.
Yeah.
She thinks she's a human and a dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, no wonder you can't socialize with goats yet. Rainy day here in Middle Tennessee. It was rainy here for the first half of the day.
Crazy life. You didn't get any of that crazy weather, did you?
Yeah, you guys are okay, right?
The other day we were watching. I think it was a little bit south of there. I think South Carolina. I saw in Georgia, but still.
Yeah. So Fairview Family Farm said, I'm considering buying a Jersey cow herd share. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart, honestly. Trying to figure out if it would be worth it. You never know.
I ain't gonna lie.
You
Jersey cows are beautiful though. That color, I love. And they usually have the big eyes.
I like the miniature ones, even though they're a blue $1 million. Where you're like, oh, I like them, but I don't want to pay that
for
them.
Highlands.
Yeah, the Highlands.
Guernseys
all the
are
things
cute
I
too.
want.
I
I want all the little things.
Mm-hmm.
Mo says, I've been freezing vegetables, carrots, green beans, and corn. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's smart. Especially if you can find like the good deals, like the hauls from like Aldi's or anything, or someone's like, hey, I'm getting rid of all these potatoes or these carrots because they're going to go bad. And if you know how to can, it's like, hey, I'll take them because I will can them and I'll preserve them. So
yeah, especially with our garden boxes expanding this year.
Yeah, with what we're getting ready to go into, it's important.
We really need to can to preserve what we're.
Hi, Mama Burton. How are you?
Isaac said we were thinking about meat chickens. The red Dorking chickens were a breed I was looking at, multi-purpose for eggs and meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Our new breed's multi-purpose, he said.
Yeah, the Orpingtons, because they're so big, they're considered a dual-purpose breed.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting ready to order meat chickens, but I'm getting ready to dip my toe out into my social circles and say, does anybody want to put a deposit on a done butchered chicken? And you can come to my house and pick it up when it's done. Or better yet, I will raise it, I will feed it, and you can come out and learn how to butcher, and I will take a little bit of money off of the end product because I'm putting money in by buying the chick, feeding the chick, running the tractors, putting my time into it. So we're getting ready to do, and we do already have someone who's like, I want 4.
Yeah,
we just dropped off 4 last week. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, if people would, I don't mind doing the work.
Honestly, for us, like we talked about last week, I mean, people get the organic meats and then they realize the difference. Like we're talking about, it's not just because of the shortages too, but you get into some of that organic homegrown meat or eggs or any of that.
Like the duck we had tonight, someone's like, duck is so expensive, and I'm like, actually, they're really not that expensive to run and grow yourself. And I understand that is not for everybody, 100%. But at the same time, like there's a reason the duck is expensive at the grocery store.
Yeah, crazy. Like I said, thanks for naming a goat after me.
Hey, her papers are finally coming back from the ADGA. Her paper name is Mo, then a pretty face.
There you go.
She's one of our favorites too.
I get a kick out of some of those crazy names that someone. Yeah. Wasn't one of them like it was like Party Favor? And
like Flu's.
Some great ones out there.
Granddam is Party Favor, and then his sire is Party Crasher.
What's your favorite name you've named out of our herd so far this year?
I don't know. I really like Radical Skedaddle.
Yeah.
But she hates me, so I'm like, I love your name, but Mo, then a pretty face, I think is a good name. Yeah. Then so like Willow's, because we get into like, I like to make like the weird names for my papered animals. Farm Amy, hello, how are you? It's been a hot minute. Oh my god, you love your Muscovy ducks too. We cooked one tonight, and it's just like, I get it. It's not for everybody, but we love our Muscovy ducks.
And if you're not familiar with Muscovy ducks, their meat is more like a
it's red.
Yeah, it's like a more of like a hoofed animal meat, and then
it can be red.
Bird,
it can be pink on the inside, and it's not considered taboo. But we're getting ready to have a Muscovy explosion because I've got one setting in the buck barn. I've got one setting underneath the arborvitae tree. There are 4. You didn't know there's a 4th nest now. There's a 4th nest in the duck house, and they're all setting. And there's like 16 eggs under each one of them. So I'm like, 16 times 6. Carry the 4. I'm like,
Muscovy math is now starting on our farm.
We're gonna have an explosion. But I think this year the funniest name I've got is Dreamer's Epiphany. Her name is Dreamer.
Yeah.
And there's Chicken Hawk, and I named her brother Peregrine because I'm like, well, if we're gonna go with birds of prey and you guys are tiny, we're gonna go with tiny birds of prey. Peregrine falcons are pretty small, so
There you go. Fairview said, I've been hitting up the Amish salvage stores.
yeah.
Lucky to have them in our area.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have some a little bit up north, and I was really thinking about taking a nice little trip up and seeing what we could
I think
score.
the area's just run Amish
Yeah.
too. Like driving through,
It's
it
very
makes you feel
peaceful,
like
yeah.
you've sort of exited your crazy, world that technology and all that's going on in, and you go up there and it's just like resets you a bit.
Yeah, it does.
It was funny because even the McDonald's we went through, pointed
yeah,
out that
it was
I didn't
like
notice it. Ashley
the
noticed.
Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah,
Like
the
and
menu
the hitching
was.
posts.
Yeah,
I was like, look, they have hitching posts,
yeah.
and it's in Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah.
And
They
he
had
was
an
like,
English menu and a Pennsylvania.
yeah.
I pulled it up. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, wait, that's not my
I know.
menu.
I was like,
guess.
well, we're in Amish country, honey.
Mhm.
Like they have their own dialect. So.
The thing is, I know most of the McDonald's meal numbers. I didn't have to read it anyways, so I was good to go.
Thank God they're universal.
No. Isaac said, apparently the red Dorking chickens are the best tasting chicken meat. Not sure if that's true or not.
Well, buddy, you raise some up
Yep,
and let us
know how to.
Let us know
I don't know
because
if I'm familiar with that breed. I'm not like a big.
they're squatty little.
No
They're not.
breed,
Well, I feel like their body shape
I don't
is a
know
lot
law
like the
breeds,
Orpingtons.
Mhm.
They're just like big, hulking, meaty little
Yeah.
stout things.
I love the ones that are multi-purpose though.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
now with the things are, it's nice.
Yeah, my Easter eggers are looking less and less appealing
Yeah.
because they carry like zero meat.
Plus
on
the
them.
fact when you start getting that offset of, to me, roosters versus hens, and if they're a meat breed, you can quickly just say, oh.
And anybody that's like done butchering yourself,
Mhm.
if you go from a Cornish rock cross and then go to like a barnyard rooster that's lean and mean and is a running, fighting, breeding machine,
yeah,
there is a huge difference like in their body type, how their structures are set up. Because when I culled some roosters last year that were Easter eggers for the most part, I was like, these guys don't have hardly any meat on them. Their
Yeah.
bodies were super narrow, so they were a little bit more difficult to, process and pull everything out of. So I can see why people are like, I want the dual purpose, because then they've got the eggs, the ability to lay eggs and be highly productive. But then when it comes to a carcass, if you decide to butcher out, then
yeah,
and honestly, because we dipped our toes into doing our own self butchering last year with our Cornish rock crosses and our ducks, I am just kind of like, let's do all of it.
Mhm.
And if people want to have the benefits of grass-fed or home raised, or they want to support someone local, then I want to be able to offer that to them, because there are some people that they're like, I can't find anybody. And I'm like, well, sometimes it's because it's really hard, depending on like your county or your state, to get those specific licenses and make sure that you're following to the letter of the law, because like you can really get in trouble if you're selling things from your home that you shouldn't be selling. I've been reading like the home-based vendors for Indiana, and there's some things where I'm like, oh, I guess I can't do that. And there are things like, oh, this is super easy. This is definitely a way where I can help share with my community while also gleaning something in return. Because you shouldn't be afraid to have something in return from your hard work. That's something I really had to pound into my head, because I'm like, oh, if someone acts like my work isn't worth it, even if I know my work is exemplary, like half the time I'm going to be like, oh yeah, they're right. It should be for a lot less. And I will buckle and give them a better price.
Yeah. Even
though I'm not even cutting even on that price. So I've been working on that mentality up here. Mark's like, oh God, here we go. Bone broth. Yes. I'm saving carcasses to do bone broth.
Definitely.
100%.
We keep hearing more and more about it too.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely something we're interested
in.
Crazy Life also said, I've had a cockatiel after me also.
Really?
We actually, when we just went to the pet shop to look at parakeets, so get an idea what's out there, what she likes. There was a cockatiel next to the parakeets.
Yeah.
And she loved that one because
it kept jumping on her hand.
It was cool.
But the price difference between a parakeet and a cockatiel is substantial.
We'll let her start with the small stuff first. But
they were like
super cool though.
Small, non-impacting financially first.
Definitely.
Before, and because she might do this for a month and decide she does not like having birds. In which case I want it cheap where she can kind of exit out and get finances back and not lose too much.
But she's been interested for a while. I don't see this being something should change.
Then Amy says, I need to find a big old chicken because while I love the meat on the Cornish, I just can't do the buy chicks ever. Is tough. And they are so daggone dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, if you do the tractor method, the effect that they have on your grass is amazing.
Yeah.
Like if I drag the tractor, and albeit even if I move it twice a day, that's a poopy spot. It's disgusting. I don't want to walk in it barefoot. But if I give it a month, that grass there is growing 3 times the rate than the grass around it and is greener. You can see color differences like in the lawn. So I'm like, this nitrate thing is there's something to this.
Definitely.
So
look, it's Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Your face.
How's all your sheepies doing?
Isaac.
Hopefully no danglers. I know you call them danglers.
Right,
I call them ornaments.
Isaac said, I raised silver duckling, old English game, bantams, and I'm doing the same math you are with Muskogees.
Oh my gosh. It's hard, isn't it? So
multiplies in weird ways. Like I like math, and I can't figure that one out.
You just let nature do nature. Mother Nature has her plans, and you just get out of the way.
Yep.
You just get out of the way.
I wish so acreage worked that way, but acreage seems like that's
it
a little more
it's a little more
expensive.
Fixed. Yeah, it's a little bit more fixed than other things.
That would be nice though, wouldn't it? Ren said, just turned back in. Are you giving a recipe for cocktail po broth? Seems like a very niche market. Hey, if there's a market for it, by all means, I
think that would be a bougie niche too, where they're like,
would be.
I don't take chicken broth. I have cockatiel bone broth.
Welcome to the Mulberry Branch Farm chat. Who knows what we'll be bringing up?
Yeah, it usually goes all different directions.
Cockatiel broth. There you go.
I don't know if Joe would let us.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to.
The
I don't know why I'm
bird,
even thinking
that would
now.
be way too much. Way too expensive a broth.
Super expensive broth.
I don't have that good that expensive of a taste. That's for sure.
Michelle said, "Laugh out loud." Most of the danglers are headed to the sale barn Friday. Sometimes that's just where they got to go.
Yeah,
especially
when you got too many, I totally understand.
It is a little tough sometimes, especially when you're heavy. Like I have a 66% buckling drop rate this year.
Yeah.
2/3 of my kid crop are boys.
Yeah.
And
so Michelle, how many do you have on the ground, and then what ratio box? Just wondering.
Well, for her to be rams.
She's
got sheepies. Well, you have goats too, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, she's got goats too. She's got boars.
But I'm sure, she's probably more talking about the sheep. I bet you're right.
It's all right. The danglers are.
Yeah. Danglers.
That's one of those things. Like I try not to do that, especially like when you're filming, because the first thing I'm like is ripping that leg up, like ornaments, or peeling the tail up, like.
Yeah. Like scratching off a lottery ticket to see what's underneath.
And I know in all my videos, whenever it's ornaments, I'm like, oh, it's a buck.
Yeah.
Like I still love and care for them.
Yeah.
As if they didn't have ornaments, but
when Haley, had the 4 out in the field and 2 didn't make it, even when I brought them in, she's like, "What are they?" I'm like, "They're not alive," but she still wanted to know.
It's like one of each.
It is a good thing to keep track of, because it's funny how some does sort of.
It's not
follow trends.
Even though the does have no control over it, let's not be like the English tutors and blame the women for whatever's happening.
Willow.
It's not. You guys are throwing that extra Y.
Willow, we've been wanting a doe forever, and she
finally gave me.
Yeah. So
she finally gave me it. When I saw that one, I was like.
Actually, I think it goes more on what you want. You have to wish for bucks, and then you get to those. Like I said.
Yeah, and there have been some where I'm like, I don't care what this doe gives me, and of course it's all does. It's the ones where I'm like, I really want to continue this line and improve it. That it's like, I know I'll only get bucks from you.
Yeah. Crazy Life said, I was breeding exotic birds, parakeets, and cockatiels back in the early 2000s. People would buy out my birds in the first hour of shows because they were clean and healthy. That is awesome.
See, Joe's been doing a lot of learning.
Well, it sounds like we may have a parakeet expert in the house.
That's good though, because then I can come to you.
Because for me and Ashley, we don't know much about parakeets. So
she's like, we need to locate an exotic avian vet. I'm like,
I'm impressed. She's researching behind it and doing a lot of reading, and
she is, because she knew. She's like, you see that one over there that's kind of like fluffed and like in the corner. She's like, he's not feeling good. You wouldn't want to buy him. She's like, you'd like this one over here that's acting like super like animated and like okay.
Yeah. Giving us the.
And she's very upset they had clipped wings. I'm like, honey, it's an open top display for them. They have to clip their wings. Yep. They can't have them flying all over the store.
Giving us the walkthrough in the pet store. Like, their behaviors.
I understand. I know.
Isaac said, I had a hen that was about 2 pounds and she laid 14 eggs.
Wow.
And had a hatch rate of 100%. Excited for the 6 hens I have this year.
That's
Wow.
awesome. That's
That
super
is
awesome.
Yeah. It's a big
It
hen.
is nice
2
too when
hens.
they can raise them themselves. Even though like we have an incubator, so it's. I mean,
Yeah.
if we didn't need a hen to do it, we don't need a hen to do it. But if honestly, if they'll do it for me in my coop, I'll let them because they do have a better hatch rate than the incubator because they know what's going on. And I'm over here trying to keep the humidity balanced in an incubator and make sure it's not in a cold, drafty room, just like all the rooms here when it's cold outside.
Ren said you'd be the only one offering it. Set your price.
Set your price, yes.
Hey, supply and demand. Supply would be limited.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
I like the way you think. So Michelle says we have 30 lambs, and this year was a 50. Well, good.
Ooh,
I'm glad. Says we breed for an Easter market, makes sense, and 4-H kids. So 10 ram lambs leave Friday. They are averaging 60 to 7. Whoa, that's really good.
That was awesome.
That's really good. That's a great growth rate. That's awesome. I was going to ask because I know like Sandy at Sheepishly Me is always talking about like the Easter market. That seems like that's the big target one that she shoots for too.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, Mo would be happy to give us thank you.
Yeah,
I will probably be like, Mo, please. I don't know anything about parakeets. Isaac says it was like the little old lady in the shoe with all her kids when she was walking around with them. That's so funny because they do. They like look like they're moving on like a little wave of fluff because they have so many babies.
Yeah, that one time you went in to grab one and that one came right at your face, they'll definitely come at you.
Yeah. Is it the Muscovy or the hen? Because I had one
hen. The Muscovy too. Yeah, that's true. But you had the one hen in the.
Yeah, but she smashed an egg and killed a chick in the process of coming at me, and I wasn't even going for her.
Yeah.
One fell out, and I was going to put it back up, and she came at me. And I was like, okay, like, it's just trying to help you. Yeah. I know they don't know that, but it was like, Mama, try to put your baby back underneath of you.
Well, but speaking of chicks, we do have, as we mentioned, a bunch downstairs in the basement right now. Majority of them are lavender Orpingtons.
Yeah, I think there's 8 or 9 lavender Orpingtons, and then there's 3 barnyard whatevers. Some of them have 5 toes, and some of them have feathered legs. So the 5 toes, we don't keep silkies. We have salmon fabrils, and they have the 5th toe, and they have feathered legs. So I know those are probably, they're not purebred salmon fabrils. I only have 1 purebred hen and 1 purebred rooster. They're probably Fabricanas, or they're going to be a mix between Colombian Wyandottes and Fabricana.
We got an interesting situation. We got some odd end roosters all over the place here. Ashley noticed not too long ago, one of our roosters just decided to go on like a vacation and went way out in the field. Like you could just see a speck out there, and she's like, "Oh, it was." Not a rooster we were too worried about, so I was like, "Oh, I guess he's going on his way."
Left, and I'm like, "Well, if you don't like us,
pack your bags off the."
That's fine. You can live in the back
There's
field.
a train railroad nearby.
But he was one too. Like even if I tried to herd him in the right, anywhere I want him to go, he will go the opposite direction. So I'm like, I'm just gonna let you stay back there. And sure enough, in a week's time, he was back up here.
Yeah.
He must have like survived the wilds and was like, "Yeah, I don't like this. I'm good. I don't want to be back here." Because now he comes and he roosts in the barn again.
Yeah, funny. He came back. I guess he just wanted a couple-day break and go out and see travel the world for a bit.
I got worried because we've had coyote issues, and then I was like, "What's that in the field?" So I got out a monocular and was looking. I'm like, "That is that stinking rooster. Mm-hmm. Why is he all the way back there?"
Said, vlog chicks.
Yes. Yes.
Michelle said, "Oh, I love lavender Orpingtons. So fluffy and friendly."
That's what we're hoping. We've heard so many people say that they're friendly.
Eggs from my sister, and that's where we saw them and definitely fell in love with them as well. He
fell in love with them, and I've always liked them. But he was like, "I want those chickens." I'm like, "Well, if that's one you want."
I like them because they, like Ashley said, have that calmer personality too. At least hers do.
Well, I like the wild-looking chickens in the crazy egg colors. And sometimes that just is not cohesive, like with what we're going towards. So I've had my fun, and now I'm like trying to rein it back in. Like this is as fun as it can get, and meet all of the expectations I have for a chicken on the homestead. Yeah. So, yeah.
Darren says back Adventures on the Homestead, just a preview of how he made our new commercial, which is awesome. If
that is super cool.
Check it out. Made me want to put on some like face paint and go through the woods. This is like Viking based. It's pretty cool. Definitely felt like it's
fun to do artistic
embodied the
things
spirit
like that.
of Darren in it for sure. But that was cool.
Yeah, you could tell you definitely enjoyed making that one. That's one where I looked at it and I'm like, I need to make a couple videos like this where I'm just like, this was fun to make.
Yeah.
This is like,
You
I'm
could
really
feel
proud of
when
it.
you were watching it. That was awesome. So
Yeah, not that we
Look
don't
for-
make videos that I'm not proud of, but there's right now, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm running on fumes. It is a ragtag ship over here. I'm a
Get
month
through those
behind in
spells. Everybody
editing
does.
where like I don't even know where all my film is.
Mhm.
Like I will make a video and be like, crap, this was supposed to be in that video, and I'll just like, well,
technical issues lately you've struggled with. So
it is what it is.
it is.
what
It is.
So you guys are gonna be what you guys can expect to see from us coming soon is baby goats, milk
Mhm.
testing, baby goats.
Co-worker coming out soon to
Yeah.
actually see them, which is cool. So
Which that's kind of
and then
it's
tell
not
them about
weird.
the
Yeah.
one group that
I'm
one.
going to. So I had a lady from, she's not too far away. She's about an hour and a half away. And I get the feeling that she thinks like we do farm tours here. And that's not what we do.
Brigitte, goats. Yep.
Goats.
You need them.
Yes. But she sent me an email and she's like, where are you located at? She's like, I used to have Nigerian dwarf goats and I just love them. I just love your videos. And this is where I'm located. Where are you? And I didn't like give her my address or anything. I just gave her like the county. She's like, you're not far away. I'm going to give you a call when I've got all my friends here. I've got a lot of older ladies that want to come out and visit. And I'll let you know when we're ready to do that. And I've not responded because I'm like, usually people only come out when invitations are extended. Brigitte.
Yeah, here you
Here's
go.
the house
Here's
goats.
Squeaky.
Squeakers. She's
Yeah.
like, why did you wake me up? I
Yeah.
was all warm
She's
and
laying on the
cozy.
coffee table shelf. Oh.
You
Yeah,
can put her down.
she's definitely our house goat now.
Yeah.
So stand up. You tired still?
Yeah,
Here
she
is.
says the table is really slick.
Yep, it's your little tail.
Are you going to pee up here? I'm really afraid that's what she's going to do on the laptop too.
Yep. So
But this is Squeakers.
yeah,
And Squeakers thinks she's a puppy and a human.
yeah
You
she
think you're
stays
both.
inside. She actually
Yeah.
sleeps under Ashley's nightstand, which is crazy to believe.
Though
but
the other night she did spend the whole night in the closet.
so in the
She
shoe
went and
closet,
laid
laid
down next to
snuggled
the
with the shoes
vacuum.
and laid there.
And refused to move for 10 hours. I was like, do you want a bottle? And she just looked at me and was like, no, I'm good. I'm tired.
Yeah.
You want a bottle now, though? I can tell.
Emma said she wants it. Emma would be
It's
a
a
good
baby.
adoptive goat mother.
You're
She
so
would.
pretty. Like, say hi to them. Say hi
Here,
to
I'll
them.
put her back down. So
She's
all
like,
she's like, you woke me up and sleep for this.
but she does like my nightstand has like literally this much room underneath of it, and she climbs underneath of it, and
Yeah.
that's where she sleeps. And I can hear her come out and toddle around like around 4 or 5, and that's usually when she's gonna start saying, "I'm hungry," and I
You
get up
should
and
let
make her
her host
bottle.
the show. Everybody got like.
I should, yeah, I know. Everybody, are we not
Probably
good
better
enough
than
for
to
you?
see that than us.
We not good enough for you
It's so
people.
funny though. Like she's small enough where when she drinks the bottle, though, you can feel her stomach
Yeah,
get full. And
yeah.
rounded.
It's that
That's right
nice
now
like
it is, 'cause
warm
after that
sloshy
early drink.
belly is like. Oh. Terrence says, I'm afraid all of our future.
It's
it
possible.
happens.
It's
It
possible,
does,
Darren.
and I'm not, and it's not always just because like you love the goats. It's because the goats do crazy crap where you're like, I have to film this. Nobody will ever believe this happened if I don't film it. You know.
Oh, he's got Highlands. Those are hard to compete with. Too.
No worries, Emma. I'm just glad you're here, friend.
Yep.
It's good to see you.
Isaac said our old house when we moved, we had to catch all 20 chickens, and we were on a little less than an acre. Anyway, we had a hen that flew away, came back on our last trip to the house before we
It's like
moved.
she
Well,
knew like the
yeah.
last train's leaving.
all my
me.
family's gone. I better come back now.
That's
So
so funny.
that is
Yeah,
awesome.
Squeakers is our little resident cutie right now.
Stephanie said, "Oh my goodness, she's cute."
Yes,
she is.
She is. She doesn't really talk a whole lot, and when she does, it's a squeak.
Yep. Yep. Ashley gets the benefit of not only working from home with her new
Yeah.
job, but Squeakers lays under her feet all day.
She does,
and
and
falls
she will like
asleep, yeah.
snuggle, and I can tell when she's dreaming because sometimes she'll like end up licking my feet. Like while
Mhm.
she's dreaming, I'm like, somebody's dreaming of her feet, and that's my toe. Please don't. Amy says that is so weird when people assume that we do farm tours.
Yeah.
Like if you want to see what we are doing, watch YouTube. Don't show up. That's exactly
Yeah.
the way I felt because I'm like, I'm very flattered that you want to come out and see this,
Yeah.
but that's an added layer of stress and chores on top of my already
Yeah.
overwhelming and stressful chores.
And then like sometimes people come out and they expect it like to be spick and span. I'll be honest.
And they're like,
we
it
got projects.
stinks. I'm
every-
like, they poop.
there may be tools
They
laying
poop.
in odd areas of the yard where
Yeah.
I started a project, had to move to another project. It's just the way it is. So
It does happen.
yeah, we have like 2 rusty trucks sitting out right now because the guy doing the driveway noticed an old truck in our field and was like, "Hey, what are you doing with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing with it what you see, which is taking up field space." So he offered gravel for the truck, and we're like,
our first barter.
Yeah,
it was our first barter.
Definitely.
We're like,
I mean, we're not using it.
Yeah, we'll do that because it's just a rust bucket.
He wants
that's
it, so.
Tetanus waiting to happen for one of my animals.
Yeah.
So take it.
Yeah.
Give us the gravel.
Oh, hello, Patty.
Yes, we're
you
so
didn't
glad
miss
to
us.
see
We're
you.
still here for a while.
We're gonna be hanging.
It's good
for
to
a
see you, though, Patty.
Yeah.
Isaac said that's good to be one tame goat once she goes back outside.
Yes. It's always so hard though because like those are the same ones when they know that you're out and that they cannot get to you and they're like crying. You're like, no, you're a goat. You're a goat. I know I confused you, but it was so you would live.
Yeah, for sure. As long as she don't turn into a dog like Ashley said, she keeps following them around.
Well, it's kind of funny though because I have two baby goats out there right now that mommy is just not producing what she should be producing for them. It's very disappointing, but they're always hungry. Like always. So I need to start supplementing a bottle for them. But Mo, the Mo than a pretty face doe came up and I could tell like she was a bottle baby 100%. She was used for goat yoga and therapeutic sessions on the farm that she came from. Plus she's from a performance and a production herd. And when she saw that bottle, she was all over me. So it's hilarious. Like even now that she's over a year old, she knows what a bottle is and she knows what it means. Like she was all over me. I did actually pick the kids up in bottle feed because I'm like, Mo, you cannot have this. Like you're a year and a half old. You don't need this.
Patty said the little doeling's going to be like a puppy when she goes graduates out.
She is. I'm hoping she'll encourage the others to be puppies.
Yeah,
I do have some very friendly kids out there right now.
They all become puppies if you just hold out feed. They all come flying up.
They do.
Even the ones that are a little skittish.
Yeah. It's funny. I was having like a rough week earlier this week, and Mark's like, just go out with your baby goats. Because I don't know, like working from home is great and all, but sometimes like I just get like down. Because like I'm not out and interacting. So like I'll just get like depressed. He's like, just go hold baby goats. Fix me right up. I was like, yeah, you're right. I just needed to let baby goats like snuggle with me.
Darren said usually paddock ornaments are old horses. Yep.
I would appreciate an old horse better.
Emma said, did you guys book your hotel for HOA yet? No, we haven't. I meant to do that and did not.
He does.
We just booked ours the other day.
I got the tickets.
Yeah.
The hotel's his problem.
How are the rates, Emma? I think last time we stayed a little bit outside of.
It was only like 15 minutes though, and I enjoyed like being a little bit further out.
Yeah. And we had some stuff around us, which made it a little bit easier to go to. But someone, I can't remember who it was in the last live, was talking about Airbnb, and there being some good prices. Yeah. So we might have to look at that. I'm a little afraid to.
Yeah, I know Chip and Nicole did.
Definitely
Airbnb
buying the free cancellation, like whatever that fee is on
even
top,
though we 100% plan to be there, but like if gas goes to like $15
like
a gallon,
anything anymore,
we won't be able to swing that at all.
Yeah,
it'd be cheaper just to eat the ticket, maybe sell it to someone local.
Was talking about the other night, like, hey, gas prices go up like that, nobody's leaving houses.
So as of right now, we're set. But if that happens, it's
Emma, thank you for the reminder. Definitely going to price check tonight.
You're so wonderful.
And the little one's peeing on the pillow. Hold on.
On the pillow?
Yeah, I think she thought it was her towel.
Oh. She just really likes to stand elevated like on a towel or something soft and then just whiz everywhere. Need to get some cheap diapers. This is my life. We have a house goat. Just pees everywhere. That's good though. At least she's healthy enough to pee. I can look at the bright side. Yeah, she just likes to stand with her front hooves on something elevated. It's like it helps the pee come out. I don't know. It's like gravity just pulls it down. Isaac says, I still have an almost 1-year-old that was my first bottle baby that still comes up behind me in the field and tries to knock at the back. I know. But like that's something that you're just like, I love you too. And you remember that I was your source of life. I do enjoy bottle babies, 100%. The reason that we're so set on her being socialized by other goats is sometimes they tend to become like your biggest bullies in your herd.
Yeah.
And that did happen with one of our boar goats and it was when we got Nigerian dwarfs, and I would have kept her until the day she died, but she kept butting pregnant does. I'm like, nope, we cannot do that. So She did go to a really nice pet home though, which made me happy because I'm always so worried. Please go to a good home.
Yep. Hello, Mrozinski. Good to have you guys tonight.
How are you? How's everything going?
I must say, baby goats make everything better. They truly do.
It's just the endorphins they get you to release where you're just like, okay, life is okay now.
Michelle diaper duct tape time.
I felt so bad though because like June earlier she got thrown out because she growled and snapped at her, which I'm like, not okay. You cannot do that. But like earlier in the day I walked up and like I'm like, oh, June's being so good, and Squeakers just has a whole mouthful of her tail hair.
Yeah.
And it is like down. I like pulled it out and I'm like, this dog is sitting here letting this goat pull out her tail hair and eat it. So I understand why she snapped, but I'm like, move away, lick her to death. When she doesn't want to be licked, she will run from them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, lick her. Don't growl and snap. I don't know if she was asleep or what, but just was not okay.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Farmer's Kind of Life said they got to run. Time for chores.
Yeah.
It was good to have you guys tonight.
Enjoy your Muscovy ducks because they're awesome.
Did you miss a comment up there?
I think I did. I was like...
You were reading Isaac's when I
know.
Stepped away for a second.
What the heck?
No, you didn't miss any.
I didn't miss anything. Okay.
You're all caught up. You're on top of things. Just still feeling a little...
Yeah. Everything is just kind of...
Speaking of the Homesteaders America meetup, though, we were super excited, especially myself, honestly, was, did I mention last week John Lavelle is going to be there from Warrior Poet Society? Yeah. Actually, I had to catch up a little bit on him, but she recognized who he was, and he's awesome. I
really like him.
Like, definitely. I actually got the fangirl last year, so I get the fangirl a little bit. Fanboy. Call fangirl. I don't care. I'm just excited to be there, yeah. I'll run around screaming high pitched with my hands up like that. So.
What, like that one meme where the guy's like...
Yeah, Jonah Hill is doing that. I mean, me for sure. So, but yeah, excited. But I mean, like we've talked about in the past, I mean, he'll be there, which is exciting, but just the wealth of knowledge and the speakers there are tremendous. So I think that recently they just had a sale on their tickets. So
I think it ended yesterday.
Oh, bummer.
Maybe or today, or maybe it's tomorrow. I don't know. Check it out, guys.
Yeah.
Because like in Facebook, I noticed in Homesteaders of Indiana, which is a group that I'm in Facebook, someone was like, what's anybody's stance on being a member of the HOA? But it was so funny because like most people thought it was like homeowners association, like geez, buddy, you're twisted. We all went into this lifestyle to get away from that.
Yeah.
He's like, edit Homesteaders of America HOA. So like I chimed in and was like, yeah, they've got different tiers for memberships. I really enjoy having the library available to me. Not to mention I can go back to the conferences, especially the October conference. I think the conferences they've got going on now, you can buy virtual tickets and it allows you to be a part of it virtually, which I did for like the business portion of the homeowners conference back like in January, which has been fantastic to listen to. I'm still not through all of it, but I have been listening.
Yeah.
But if you guys are interested in that, like you guys get the access to library, you get access to purchase tickets before everybody else. Sometimes you get them at a discounted rate. There's a lot of perks to it. So I would definitely say go and look at their site.
Yeah. And if you want to see a good representation of what last year was, they had a video on YouTube. That's when Dawn, I think, shot,
Dawn made it. Yeah,
which
Dawn
is incredible.
From Little Mountain Life.
The guy's also a photographer, but
it
gives a little bit of an insight into what's there.
Yeah.
So Rozinski said everything is going good, drowning in all the rain.
I know. Get ready for next week. Yeah. You're in Indiana too, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought they were.
I feel like you're a fellow Hoosier.
I'm not getting hit by any of that severe stuff.
Yeah, because we're supposed to get Monday's supposed to be beautiful, and then it's supposed to be deluge time the rest of the
Emma said they decided on a hotel closer so they can drop their stuff off easily, go do stuff. Yeah. I know that was a sort of a headache for us when we had to, like, especially going out to dinner or something, we wanted to go back and rest for a bit. They cut into some of that time where you just
like
want to go
5
back,
minutes of rest,
lay on the bed for a minute to sort of recover and then go back out. Having a closer hotel definitely helps with that. All right. Just digging in the food bowl. Michelle said, I want to go to HOA to meet you guys.
Michelle, it's worth it.
You can definitely.
I'm not going to, as long as like gas prices aren't like $15
It's cool because not only is like there are a bunch of people that have similar like interests and things you can do. Like we all want to hang out.
Re-energizing.
I think we got invited to so many different invites and things.
Especially
and
Sunday. Sunday sucked because everybody's like, let's all go out. And I'm like, we're actually going back tonight. We're going
that's
home.
Gonna be different
so
this upcoming year,
we're going to make sure that we have that Monday off. So if we want to stay overnight Sunday and hang out with everybody and then get up bright and early and head back the next day.
Got to hang out with Emma, which was super fun.
I know.
Her daughter.
Chip and Nicole.
You
get to meet so many people
Jack
there.
And Tangy.
Yes.
There's just
Anna
everybody there was just awesome. It's
Constance from A Good Life Farm. The Aldermans from Alderman Farms, just really good people.
It was refreshing for me because honestly, I work in a pretty business-like environment, same as Ashley. Insurance, more just head down, mundane.
Where you feel like you're defending why
you would live a certain way or
live the way you do,
the things you do, and with a lot of people, and it's just like sort of on the outside looking in, and there you're definitely a part of a bigger family.
Everybody understands what you're talking about. They understand like what you're going through.
Rosinski said, "Can't wait for HOA. Excited to meet everyone
I'm so excited."
Yep, definitely get in touch with Ashley on Facebook.
Yes, I would love to all have even if we don't get to see each other during conferences, to just stop for lunch, to all just picnic and just chill out for a little bit.
Definitely.
Hopefully there's more food trucks this year. Or we'll pack our
Squeaky
food.
Tree, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Like so good to see you. And Squeaky Tree, we have a squeaky goat in our house right now. So when I saw your name pop up, I'm like, oh, it's like Squeaky the goat.
Emma said, did you see that Jordan from Working Aussies is going to do a class on working dogs?
Yes, I did.
I'd love to go, but it'll be a long time before we need one of those.
Yeah. And I have to say, I know that Django, even though he's a miniature Australian Shepherd, he's considered a working dog. But I know my
Rosinski's in South Carolina.
Oh, why did I
For some reason I was thinking she was South.
I really thought you were a Hoosier. That's
you weren't impacted by any of those severe storms that night.
Yeah, because you guys had some rough stuff coming through.
No wonder she's saying rain, because they had some nasty storms go through.
I'm so sorry if that's the case.
About Django and
but Aussies. I had a standard Aussie, and all I had to do is I'd point at the chickens and say, put them up. And she would go put up every single chicken.
She was awesome.
She was great and super gentle with all the animals. The only time she would ever snap or be a dog to them is if they were coming into her space and acting aggressive, in which case I'm like, well, yeah, I don't want you to get mauled to death by a goat that doesn't know you've got teeth. So
become a little more aggressive. But
yeah,
she was awesome. Yeah, Ashley definitely had trouble going around that booth last year when they were out.
It looked so much like my dog. It looked so much like my dog. I couldn't handle it. I was like, no, I'm good.
Still
can't handle looking at Aussies
little raw.
It's only been 4 or 5 years, or just
raw,
I can't. I did go look at their Kuni pig though, because it was amazing. I want Kuni.
Yeah, they had a cool booth. Who was the other one that had the goats?
I
can't remember their name off the top of my head, but they had
it's Parsons.
Yeah.
Dawson's. It's Dawson's Dairy Goats, and they actually have their own line of feed. But they had some. It was funny because I went up and I'm like, just got to tell you, the height in your scutcheon, the top line, and the depth of body, and you could tell their eyes lit up, and they're like, yeah, we've got these lines. And I'm like, is this in any of their pedigrees? Because I can just see this goat really express. They're like, yeah, that's So we were totally show goat geeking out, because I could tell. I'm like, the medial suspensory ligament is.
Yeah. Emma said, we're packing our food this time. Matt's on a strict diet, and I don't want to stand in line. Yeah. I'm thinking this year they'll probably have more food trucks, I hope, because they were very proactive about resolving the situations. The potties
were taken care of quickly.
I just think they had more people.
They did.
They expected.
They did, but I think they've been very clear this year that they're not selling at the gate, and it will probably sell out.
Yeah.
And I think they're right.
I know they knew how many tickets they were going to sell, but it just was packed. It was a lot of people there. So,
Patty, I have so many shirts that I need to make. Goat Geeks, CGLs, which can be the crazy garden lady, the crazy goat lady. I can figure out all kinds of crazy lady things to put on.
No. Start speaking some of that good language.
But it was kind of funny. And everybody in here that doesn't know, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, the top line and the length of their rump. Yeah. The lady next to me was asking about their feet. Yeah. And I was like, the length of their rump, especially for Nigerian dwarfs, those are goals. And she was
right, I don't think they really intended to get into that, but just bought some at the
No,
beginning
and
that
that's
ended up
honestly how
having
it
some.
kind of starts,
Yeah.
though. She's like, I never would have said I had goats, but honestly, when we started, I'm like, I want horses and I want a cow, and that's all I want. I don't want anything, maybe some chickens. Now we have turkeys, ducks, chickens, donkeys, goats. We've had llamas, we've had horses here, so it has been one of those where it's been ever evolving. And we have our one lone rabbit,
Yeah.
Mr. Bun Bun, who's the sweetest bunny ever. But yeah, it always starts that way. And I feel like those passions that we find like accidentally are like the most gratifying because it like defies what you thought you would like. I feel like it breaks those barriers and the parameters that we set like men. Like, I'm not gonna like that. Like, I grew up not liking lots of specific types of food, but my palate changed over time. And I feel like sometimes, like with our passions and like
ducks for us, too.
Yeah, like the ducks. I said I would never have ducks. They're disgusting. They're dirty animals. And then Muscovia's like totally the opposite of that, and I love them. And I like breaking that parameter where you're like, I'm never gonna like that, and then you're like, actually, I love them, and I'm passionate about them, and I will never walk away from it. You know.
That's stuff he said.
I've been looking.
No.
I've been looking.
Had geese growing up too, and those little suckers are mean sometimes.
They live with
we'd have to carry them like, honestly, kids say we'd carry them like a guitar, hold their heads out. And my sister would get too close to me, and of course, I actually had hair when I was younger, believe it or not. I mean, but they would, so I had a little bit longer hair, and they would reach up and one time just grabbed my hair and would not let go. And of course, I had a goose in my hand, so I couldn't swing around and try to get it off. And she was afraid to pull too hard because I had my hair. It was basically a large entanglement in the yard that took way too long to sort out. So
it's usually what happens when you try to get like good pictures of like your kids with farm animals. Like all hell breaks loose.
They will keep every kid on a farm in line. When those things come flying out from behind a barn or
down,
around a bush or something with their arms out hissing, kids run in fear.
Yeah.
Patty,
I have some that will be hatching soon. Oh. Are you being an enabler, Stephanie?
Yeah, I think so. Patty up there said I should save some ideas for when I get back to doing videos and growing my channel. Probably. Yep.
You might want to start writing them down. Yeah, you have some really good ideas. So. Sebastipols are beautiful. They are so pretty.
This is the goose we had for a little bit. That Ross's?
Yeah, but that was a wild goose. That was a Ross's goose. Does anybody remember that when we found like an injured Ross's goose?
And sort of what got us into Muscovies.
Well, we got the Ross's goose. It was injured. We nursed it back to health. It hated us and was lonely. And I decided it needs friends. And instead of just getting like 2 Muscovy ducks, I'm like, let's get 10.
Yeah.
With nowhere to put them. And we're still dealing with the aftermath of that. So
Stephanie's got Sebastopol. And the brown Chinese geese. I'm not sure I know what the brown Chinese ones are.
They have like the brown caruncle up here, right? Is that called a caruncle on the geese?
We just had what was it? The Canadian style growing up. I guess Canadian geese.
Canadian geese?
Yeah.
Canada goose?
Yeah. Pretty sure that's what we had.
That's what you had?
I thought so.
You're not allowed to own those?
Well, maybe not.
You might want to be quiet.
I don't know what they were then. They were just
what did they look like?
They look like Canadian geese. Who knows? We probably went to our
Mark's
local flea market.
Wildlife as a youngster, like keeping illegal wildlife.
I just knew it was a goose and they were mean and you couldn't turn your back on them and they attacked you.
You have to have like a wildlife rehabilitator's license.
They look like them
like
though.
That.
I mean, whatever that another breed that looks like them are. I swear. Let me look up brown Chinese goose though, because maybe that's what they were.
Yes, and they are the small version of the brown African geese. Yeah, I know what they are.
Brown cheese. I put the wrong thing in there.
Please don't search brown cheese.
Yeah,
what do you think he would get if he searched brown cheese on Google?
Yeah.
It's probably Urban Dictionary type stuff. It'd be like, woo.
Could be the next Squirtle.
Patty said we found geese walking through our neighbor.
Actually, I think that's what they were.
Yeah. Well, that's probably that's what he had. Stephanie, he just doesn't know what he had. He had the brown Chinese geese.
It's been forever. I can't remember that far.
There's a substantial difference between the 2 geese.
Probably is.
There is a Canada goose, and then
definitely not up to speed on my geese.
Look, the Canada goose has an all black head and neck with that white cheek patch.
Hers sort of look like that.
No, they. Back to what
now
Patty
I know what
was saying.
Sebastopol was because those looked
Yeah,
Totally
because they've
different.
got the frilly feathers.
Mm-hmm.
So she said that they had geese walking through their neighborhood that escaped a local farm. My dad saved it from the street and warned us against those wings. He was injured by a gander once, pretty bad. They can beat the heck out of you. Like when you think about how hard they have to flap their wings and how quickly they zoom through the sky, like it makes sense why they could bludgeon you like pretty severely.
Now swans are supposedly mean.
And they hate Canadian geese. Usually if you see a swan on a lake, it's because they don't want the Canadian geese there. Swans are extremely territorial.
Got Canadian geese stuck in my head because remember at work we had a lake and they would all the time be around it. Oh.
We would take our lunch outside just to watch nested
snapping turtles in that pond to try to take care of them.
Well, it took care of the chicks.
Yep.
It took care of
the chicks. Because it would actually, you could watch and sometimes they'd come up and pull one under.
Yeah, you'd be watching them in the line and one would just go under the surface and you'd be like, oh.
Yep.
Emma says, I just learned that Sebastopol geese don't retain heat as well as other. Is that because of like the frilly feathers don't insulate as well?
I could see that because they're real frilly, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. That look actually, I have a few of those. I keep some. I get them pretty often. Yep. Yeah, he does get them pretty often.
Emma said, "Sup, Joe." Joe, Emma said hello.
Was she back there?
I think she snuck in. She said hello back.
Was she doing her
She's
weird
tired.
ghost
she had
thing?
Softball practice.
Yeah, it was the first softball practice tonight, and she gets to have it on Saturday at 9 a.m.
Which I love
it's
hearing,
super cold.
Because when baseball and softball come around, that means spring's coming soon.
Yes, it was nice to go step out on the field, like just to sit in the bleachers. I'm like, oh, this is. Even though it looks like the lineup for her games is going to be intense this year because there's only 3 teams, so it looks like some nights we have double headers throughout school, and I'm like,
Isaac said, I just looked, there's brown cheese. Thank you, Isaac, for confirming. See?
You're much braver than I am, Isaac. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, nope. I'm always afraid of what the internet will throw at me because I feel like the internet knows, like, I am weak-stomached.
That sounds like me with Wordle. I don't know if you guys play Wordle.
Do you guys play
random
Wordle?
Words to try to...
And it makes me so angry because he makes leadway that way, and I'm like, what the heck kind of word is that? He's like, I didn't know it was a word. I'm like, that's like cheating.
Hey, it worked.
Well, thanks, Isaac, for looking at brown cheese for us. You have a good night.
Stephanie said brown Chinese geese can't fly.
Oh, that's kind of nice because the Muskogees definitely can.
I think that was.
Could you fly? Could they not fly?
I don't know. I don't think they could. They never flew away. I don't know. Like I said, I was not overly interested in the geese that we had. I was more into the alpine goats.
I don't know about.
And we had a peacock, which I no longer want peacocks ever because it would fly into neighbors' tree.
He was traumatized as a young boy.
And then, of course, make its loud call noise, whatever, what sounds like a cat getting strangled.
Ow, ow.
And I was known around the neighborhood for climbing trees and getting the peacock. Whether it be a nice bristly cedar tree or a tall oak, whatever it decided to fly to the top of, I was in charge of climbing up there and bringing it back home. And that was my job.
Is it because you didn't have girlfriends for it?
I guess.
Did you have girlfriends for it?
Mm-mm.
That's why it was wandering.
Something happened to its girlfriend.
That's why it was wandering.
Yeah. Then one day it ran off.
There was another peacock farm?
It did. There was one we found out not too far away.
See? They get lonely.
We do.
They get lonely. That goose and swan elbow bone can knock you in. Yeah, I know. I mean, seriously, people don't understand.
They're like baseball bats. I mean, they hurt.
Yeah. I remember feeding them at the park, and my mom would be like, watch out for their bill. And I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, why? It's flat. And then I realized there's like little barbs in there. I'm like, oh, that really hurt. Like,
the funny thing is, too, like, they just look weird when they put their wings out and then their head gets down low to the ground. Especially little kids. They're like,
so menacing.
Almost eye level with them and hissing. Yeah. Definitely extreme fear coming out of that situation. You all right?
She's just doing her zoomies.
Yep, she's excited. I got her amped up a little bit ago, so I put honey on my finger and then let Squeaky suck on my finger and got some sugar ingested in her, and she
I'm like, that's like getting a toddler.
Got a little ramped up from that, it appears.
Why do you get to be the fun parent all the time? Like, you get to give the baby goat like sugar, and I'm over here like, get out of there, stay off of that. Like, don't do that, it'll kill you.
I have to. I built the barn. I need someone to join me to get things that go in it. Patty said, "Wow, you could get a job here, Marky. Peacocks have gone wild in the West Hills, what?
Really?
In Portland and Lake Oswego. No one can seem to catch them.
Seriously?
If the pay is good enough, I'll do it."
Marky's like, I'm on my way.
Yeah. Although I will say I am no longer in tree climbing shape. That could be a major
You could
risk.
shimmy. You could tree shimmy.
Yeah. Patty would probably die laughing if I came down out of the tree bouncing off every branch with my big old butt.
That sounds like a terrible occupation. Like, what do you do for a living? I tree shimmy.
Yeah.
After
A tree shimmy after peacocks. That's my profession.
Peacocks get loose. I shimmy up a tree, get the peacocks.
Oh goodness, we've impacted Patty. She said I read Stephanie's comment as brown cheese geese. Yeah, we've definitely taken our stream in a different turn here.
I blame having no sleep and still trying to catch up.
The Cincinnati Zoo near us that we visited, they have peacocks that walk around there, and you can actually get fairly close. You can get
really close to them.
Yeah, which is cool. Kids love that. You all right over there?
No, I remember we went because at Liberty we used to and it's happening again this year, but they did a serve with Liberty, so you could choose what you wanted to go do, and they always had tulip bulb removal. In the spring we'd go and we'd all dig up the tulip bulbs and help them package, and they give away the bulbs for free to the local community or whoever wanted to come get a bag. But it was so funny because we had this one lady on the other side of the wall that every time she was on call, you could hear every freaking word, and she was so loud and so rude. Where I'm like, how does this lady not get rated so poorly? Or she does not have a job, and we were all pulling tulips. And the peacock started screaming, and someone's like, "Is that Diane?" And it was the lady on the other side of the wall. I know it's not funny to you guys, but that made me think of it because she would just yowl and just be loud and obnoxious. Where I'm like, that person on the other end of the phone pays your paycheck, by the way. We need them. So she's like, "Is that Diane?" Sure sounds like
Patty
her.
says she has a friend with climbing gear that can hook me up. Yeah, I'm sure when he's going to hook me up, he'll be like, "Really, this guy's going to try to climb a tree." Short, stubby fellow.
Get up there.
As long as the branches are low enough, I guess. I ain't very tall. I need a ladder. Oh,
you have monkey hands though. You could grab on and grip and get up there.
Swing through the trees.
Yeah.
Call me Tarzan.
This is.
I will say, down south, they have the python problem, and they're definitely paying people to go down there and take.
Well, they pay them good money for that too.
I just saw a guy that was doing a iguana hunt down there too.
Isn't it because it's ecologically damaging to the rest of the ecosystem?
Yes, I didn't really go into the background of it, but
I'm pretty sure that's why.
They have a ton of those too. I always think it's funny when they have the cold spells and they talk about watch for falling.
They fall out of the tree. Watch for falling iguanas. Where am I?
I said he is also short and stubby. I've got no excuse. So
Michelle's monkey. I say monkey hands because I'm sure everybody who's married, every now and then you cut, not abusive or anything, but
yes.
tussles or be
domestic abuse on the
it doesn't happen. It's fine. Doesn't happen.
Now next we go to the black eye and he'll raise it.
But you know how you horse around? He will go for the fingers and he will just. I don't know if I'm just a big wimp and my fingers are fragile, but I'm okay, iron grip, monkey paws, get off of my
benefit having short hands. Short hands.
So it's what I call monkey hands.
Have those little baby hands. Short fingers.
You probably could shimmy right up with your monkey hands. You could. You have good gripping strength.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I said I heard there are wildcats eating the pythons now too. Really?
What?
Man, that's just a whole ecosystem going crazy down there.
That is just
we've been fortunate, Channel honestly. The last live we talked about the coyotes that have been showing up more frequently. That has died down for us.
Don't say that out loud.
But we actually had some deer go through the backfield the other night.
Yeah, but the donkeys were
yeah, the donkeys are totally tuned into them.
Yeah.
So which made us feel better. Just everything that goes through there now, they watch.
But, yeah, because the coyote came through last week. The only reason we knew it was there is because the donkeys were so focused on something, not moving, ears forward, looking forward.
Hands. That's gonna be my name. Marky monkey hands. There we go.
I'm sorry.
You started something now. Now everybody will expect like a hard, firm handshake, and
He comes and he's like,
I have to live up to my name, guys. I have to live up to my name.
I have a reputation to uphold. Breaking hands everywhere he goes.
Definitely.
Iron paws.
I mean, I could see the wildcats that eating the pythons because I mean it's a food source.
Yeah.
Which the pythons were clearing out the swamps. Let's use an emoji. Oh boy.
I love that I've started this for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, can we call you M Cube, Marky Monkey Hands?
I guess. You call me whatever you want.
MMM.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
I'll call you.
Yeah, there you go. Now you'll have more footage of my hands in your videos working on stuff. Speaking of video, and Ashley was out earlier today, and we were talking about wildlife. We actually had a bald eagle that was flying over our head.
And the ospreys, we have ospreys.
There's a cell
back
tower
it up.
nearby.
Yeah, there's a cell tower that ospreys nest on. It's not even like probably 300 yards from like our back door, and that's probably more than 300 yards.
It is.
It's more than 300 yards. Quarter of a
eighth mile.
mile, something like that. I exaggerate. It's okay. But there's always like a set of ospreys that nest up there. And I noticed the ospreys were just screaming and carrying on, and they were dive bombing the bald eagles. Like they didn't like them being that close to their nest, I guess. So it was interesting. And then when one got close enough, Mark doesn't. I'm pretty sure you believe me when I say I see bald eagles all the time in the back. You believe me?
I feel like that's not something like that's worth lying to.
I would not lie about it, but sometimes I'm like, he never gets to see him. So like I read, I'm like, there's a bald eagle flying over.
Which honestly, I mean, I've seen them on the road nearby too. Like they're becoming a lot
pretty
more
common.
They really did reintroduce them into the lake nearby, which is a big recreational lake, and they've taken off.
They've done really. The ospreys are not.
Which is nice because honestly, when they come in, they seem to chase off some of the hawks in the area.
They do, yeah. With those bigger birds and the bigger competition, they just.
And they definitely seem like they're more inclined to go after the fish because they have the big lake. So we fortunately have had issues with them, but they're big birds. Yeah. It's amazing.
I'm laughing at Emma's comment because I'm really hoping the next time that you guys have like a shake off.
Yeah.
Where you just like just clasp hands.
One of those weird things too, like
I am with you though, Emma. When someone like limp wrists it, I'm like, ugh.
We go to church, and of course that's a big thing there is you shake hands with people, and it's like it's hard not to think like how somebody shakes your hand, like how you feel about them. Like,
Marky grabs them is like judging them like weak hands.
Weak hands, weak heart. No, I'm kidding.
Can't get away from these monkey paws.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to fellowship at church now because when you go to shake people's hands, I'm going to be watching you like,
everybody's going to try to break our hands now because we're each other.
Challenge accepted. Yeah. Like those old like machines where you put a quarter in and like squeeze and it would tell you how like strong you were. That's what he's gonna do now at church when you go to shake hands.
Yeah, I did. Actually, our pizza restaurant nearby has one of those. I let my nephew William put a quarter in and do it. And it said like ninja strength or something. And like he walked away and just looking at his hands, you could tell like it felt more powerful. It was amazing. Wish I still had that. Like,
he came back. He's like, you will never believe what happened to me, Ashley. I'm
but
like,
the funny thing is, like, he sort of like climbed up on it and put both hands on it, and then pulled back real hard with his feet. Like, he did. Just kind of knocked the whole machine over.
Marky said he walked out of there and he's like, he's like, the things I could do with these hands. Got power.
UK Farms, hello.
I don't know what you walked into, but it's something.
We're talking about hand strength right now.
Patty said, same here, Emma. Nothing worse than a limp handshake makes me.
Oh, goodness. What did you do? Step on him? Scared me to death.
I didn't touch him.
Patty said also every limp handshake has been a guy, too. That scared the crap out of me.
Are you not feeling good, buddy?
I don't know what's up with him, but
she jumped on him and scared him.
That's what it was.
Squeaks. You can't. Well, maybe
that was another guest appearance by the friendly.
And he's not been feeling good with the weather. And honestly, he got stung by bees on Sunday. I don't like just running through.
I guess she's hungry.
Somebody's hungry. And has been acting really sore ever since. So like even today he would get up and he would cry out like that, which was interesting because we were both on calls like all day long. And thank God we were on mute when it happened because someone would think we're like killing dogs over here and we're not.
Emma said it is a joke here, but keeping it PG. Step on her. She did something to.
Oh no. I don't know where our chat went.
There you go. You just closed it. You're okay.
Squeaky.
Squeak wanted to type a message.
She's like, it is me and only me.
That was funny. All right, but we probably should wrap things up
we
can feed her and put things up.
Yeah, I said to put up the ducks, the chickens, and close up the barn.
It's wonderful talking to everybody. Thanks again for joining us tonight. We had a lot of fun with everyone.
It's not going to feed you.
Yeah.
She's doing the weird press.
Yep. But we'll be planning on being live next week.
Next Wednesday.
Yep. So everybody be safe, be kind out there, and everyone have a great night. God bless everyone.
God bless, guys.